Jerron Brown.
It's great to have JV back. To see that smile and energy. It's great to see my boy, to be able to catch up and see some pictures of his daughter. She's growing up. So it's always great to be able to reconnect with old teammates, and she's still out there playing at a high level. Made a couple tough catches today, so I was happy for her.
Larry, after what you've seen from D-Hop after just 2 weeks, what type of season do you think this cat could have?
No, he's on pace to be, all pro again. That's the standard he set. What you do it 3 years in a row, there's no reason to believe that four is not, for him. So, he works at it. He knows the system. Kyler has confidence in his ability. Obviously, he has the ability. And so, we just need to continue to do a good job of finding ways to get him the ball and let him do what he naturally does, and that's make plays.
Next three, Tressa, David, Mike Jurecki.
Hi, Larry. Thank you for your time. I wanted to ask about the difference of records right now. 2-0 for your team, but then you look at the Lions, they're 0-2. How dangerous is a team that's looking for their first win?
Obviously they would love to be able to get a win. If you're in that position, but we can't control anything that the Lions are doing or any of that. All we can do is really control what we're doing and what we're trying to focus on, and the last 2 weeks haven't been good enough for us. Do we have wins? Yes, but we haven't played to the level that we're capable of playing, and we need to fix that. We got holes in our own boat, and we need to plug those holes. And if we don't, it's going to be a tough season for us moving forward. So those are the things that we're focused on.
Hey, Larry, you've been on obviously some really good teams during your career and some fairly bad ones too. What is it mostly about talent, or is there some sort of locker room chemistry / attitude? And if that's the case, do you see this team having that, or does it need to build it a little bit?
No, we still have a ways to go, and still we haven't really faced any true adversity yet. We haven't, gotten down 14 and 17 points, 20 points. We're games where you just come out flat and somebody punches you in the mouth and you get knocked down, and you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you have to make play after play after play clean football, don't get behind the chains, get off the field on third down, win on special team. Just things that you have to do because it's imperative for you to be able to get back in the game. So when we have a game like that, you'll find out a lot about the way our team is, the character, the resolve, the leadership. All of those things will be tested when we get into a position like that. It could be this week. You never know. And so when we get into a time where we have to really fight and scratch and find out who we really are as a team, I think that would be better, to be able to see it from that point.
Larry, when you're on the field and you see Kyler get to that second level and you're watching him run, making guys look silly back there, you don't see that all the time in the NFL.
No, he's really, really talented in terms of running the football. And, what makes him so tough is, he's so abrupt, when he's running the ball. And so when he's running up on defenders, you have to be cautious because he can slide on you. The way he has a hesitation move, and he can slide off the hesitation move. He played baseball, he's a first-round pick, so he knows how to slide and get himself down, or he can put his foot in his grass and separate, at the blink of an eye. And so he puts defenders in a really, really tough position because you have to be cautious. You don't want to get a 15-yard penalty if he slides, but then if you take a little bit of, you slack off a little bit, he'll run right past you. And, he's so unique in that regard. And, he's dynamic, and, I think the most dynamic player in the National Football League right now.
Next three, please. Greg Moore, Catherine Fitzgerald, Bob McManaman.
Hey, Larry, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Forgive the lack of camera. I got to adjust my settings and didn't want to, do that during the call. Okay, man, there's this guy who works for ESPN, used to play in the NBA. His name's Jalen Rose. He's got a TV show. He's lots of places. He said that because his hometown Detroit Lions are so bad, he's rooting for the Arizona Cardinals now. And then he went so far as to say you ought to run for president. What do you think about when you hear all that?
Greg, I wanted to ask you, who are you pulling for this week? You've been a Detroit guy. Are you along the same lines as Jalen?
Listen, man, I'm a professional.
Detroit guys stick together always. So what is it going to be?
Listen, I'm a professional, and
Turn the camera on so I can see your face, guy. I want to see if you're lying, man. Hey, let me see your face. Turn the camera on. Let me see.
We'll talk about this
I know
later, man.
I know you're a closet Lions fan, man. I know you're a closet Lions fan. It's okay. I still love you, and everybody in the state of Arizona still loves you. So we'll go with you. But in terms of political aspirations, there are zero. I have no interest in that, and that's how I feel.
Hard to follow up that, but Larry, with Devon Kennard, how well did you know him before he was on the Cardinals, and what's it been like getting to know him as a teammate now?
Well, I hadn't known him. I met him before, and I know his dad. I've done a couple events with his father over the years, and so I knew about him. I followed him when he was over at Desert Vista, and then obviously when he played at SC. And anytime you see a kid that grew up in Arizona and has Cardinal blood in him, from his dad's history, you're always pulling for him, and then you get here. And you just marvel at the way he goes about his business, how professional he is, how great of a teammate he is. He does what he's coached to do, makes plays, not a selfish me guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy. Good teams are made. A lot of good teams have those type of players on them that can be unselfish and do whatever's required for your team to win. And I'm really happy to see him here. He's been a great help, and he's helping us with some of the personnel, some of the calls, some of the things that we need to prepare for as we play against the Lions, having that history.
Larry, when it comes to sustainable success for Kyler, he's been compared to a couple guys, Vic, Russ, but the long-term projection, can you see him still scooting like he scoots, and then maybe resorting to the arm later in life if he ever does lose a step? I don't even know if he would.
Well, I mean, I think these first two games, he's made plays with his feet. But I mean, you think about last year when he first, his first two games, against the Lions, he saw every single exotic blitz that Coach Patricia could dial up. I mean, there was a lot of things that he probably had never seen that Coach Patricia threw at him last year, and he's able to throw for 300 yards. Really got hot late in that game, in that fourth quarter, and also in overtime. And then you see against arguably the best defense in the National Football League against Wink and the Baltimore Ravens week 2. Throw for 300 yards. He didn't have many rushing yards in that game. He was really making a lot of throws, standing in that pocket, stepping up and making some tough deliveries, taking shots. So Kyler can do either or. I mean, whatever the defense gives to him, if they want to play back and play zone, he can beat you with his arm. He can read multiple reads and get to his second and third progression. He can roll out and create down the field plays, or he can beat you with his feet. I mean, there's no real limitation to what he's capable of doing. I think that's the thing that's unique. And obviously, when you compare him to other great quarterbacks, I don't think there's anybody truly like him. He's in a class of his own.
We will wrap it up with 4: Howard and Jim, Greg and Catherine.
Larry, Cliff talked about what a good camp Keyshawn had. And now that he's back, of course, we saw big plays last Sunday from Andy and Christian. What are you seeing from Keyshawn, and what do you think he can add to this receiving corps?
Well, first, we're just happy to have him back healthy. We missed him just as much as he missed us. He had a great camp. He worked extremely hard this offseason, and to be able to have him back out there, he's a really knowledgeable, smart player, sure-handed, great route runner, and you can never have enough talent on the field at one time. And having him back and playing at a fast pace, his legs look great, it's fresh, and I'm just happy to have him back and looking forward to him having a big day on Sunday.
Hey Larry, I was wondering we're having Kelvin Beachum on the Big Red Rage tonight, so I was just wondering what you know about him. Have you gotten to know him pretty well? And obviously, after Marcus opted out, that veteran leadership was needed on that offensive line. How has he stepped in that role at right tackle, and what kind of a teammate is he? Well,
KB's first-class teammate. He's one of those guys that if you had a sister, you'd be comfortable with KB dating her. Like, that's the kind of guy. And I feel like that's like one of the highest compliments you can pay to a man. He's respectful. He's diligent. He's hardworking. He has vast array of interests off the football field. Great technician. He does everything that you could ever ask for in terms of a teammate or a coach. Man, it's been a great addition bringing him in here. And, just as getting to know him, it's been fabulous. I've heard about him, and, marveled at the way he's kind of operated off the field for many years, doing the venture capital things that he does. And, he's been very helpful to some of his young teammates, just overhearing conversations that he's having with them. And, it's just, you never can, like downplay, just the impact of veteran leadership in locker rooms. And he's a wonderful pickup for us and a great friend.
Hey, Larry, Greg Moore, Arizona Republic.
You still didn't answer my question, Greg. I'm not answering anything until you answer my question.
Listen, man, my preseason pick for the Super Bowl is
Detroit Lions?
Raiders. Lions Raiders for the Super Bowl. I pick that every year, so you can take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
I'm curious though, man. I know that it's got to be special for you to go against a guy like Adrian Peterson, given all that you both have accomplished and given your friendship. What can you share with me about what it's like being on the sideline, watching him go and competing against him in live game action?
Well, it's always a privilege to be able to watch a first ballot Hall of Famer go about his business. A guy who's just always works so tirelessly. Who's born with immense talent, God-given ability. Great running, cutting, agility, speed, all of those things. But then you couple it with the psychological, component, and then you couple that also with the work ethic. Being able to see it from a distance is one thing, and then being able to see it, for half a season when he got here, was another. The guy's tenacious, and it's not surprising that he's already having a really solid year for Detroit, coming, from Washington late, being able to run for 90+ yards week 1 against the Packers. And I mean, the guy is just he's a true specimen, great friend of mine, and I would love to see him do well in the remaining 13 games that he has left on his schedule.
Thank you, man, and I hope that you guys prove me wrong.
Larry, you mentioned how in this game last year, the Lions were just throwing so much at Kyler, his first game at the NFL level. And Devon Kennard in particular had 3 sacks. Obviously, he's a talented defender, but what's the balance there of DK is like, that's his game. He's able to get to the quarterback, but also Kyler is a rookie, and now maybe he's grown. Those wouldn't happen again.
Well, I think Kyler's made a conscious effort to understand, when to hold him, when to fold him. He's done a great job thus far, when things are not there, being able to get outside of the pocket, throwing the ball away, not taking sacks that, are preventable. I mean, there's obviously going to be times when guys get beat and he's going to get sacked, but there's also times that we can negate it and, not put ourselves behind the sticks. And I think he's finding that happy balance. And it's fun watching him kind of mature and understand, what he's doing and how he wants to attack it. But the Detroit Lions are going to play us man. They play everybody man. They get up in your face. They rush the passer. They bring pressure. They're not going to change their colors. And Coach Patricia's won multiple Super Bowls. He knows how to put together wonderful defensive packages. He's been doing it for a long time. The guy's one hell of a football coach. And we know that team is going to be prepared for, everything that you could understand, special teams, defensively, offensively, game clock situations. They're just really well coached. You can look at that and tell just on tape the guy's effort is always high. Even if they're losing games, I mean, these guys are competing and fighting and scratching. It's indicative of the head coach.
Fitz, thank you, and thank you all for joining us.
Thanks.